All right, folks, welcome on back. Good morning. And might I say once again, hey, I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas this past weekend. And obviously yesterday, here this Tuesday morning, December 26th, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern. Of course, you could tell this is not Fausto. Once again, Josh tagging in. He's off today. He'll be back tomorrow. But with that said, great to see Michael, Chuck, Brian, Tiago, John, Alex, Brad, Mark, Charles, Linda, and all of us otherwise. Now, hey, really quick, and actually let me pop up on webcam for all of us in our trading room. Should be good to go across the board right now, and as well, all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. We got a full house today. I love to see that as an instructor, as someone who runs the trading room alongside Fausto day to day. That's great to see. Love the camaraderie. Great to see Leo here and Leda as always, and Grant, Margaret. This week, though, we're not really expecting too much. We're expecting kind of a slower week, things to really dry up early in the morning, not expecting that big push as much, at least afterwards. Expect the pullbacks and, like we always say, take the money and run, right? Now, that's easy for us to all agree on right now. But since we have so many of us here this morning, I think the reason why so many of us are here is because we love doing this. We love trading and we love being here on a day-to-day basis. It's not just the camaraderie and the chit-chat going on in the room. But, hey, it's the fact that we can make some money, right? There's at least a chance, right? Well, don't try and get too greedy out there today. This is the type of day where definitely you want to be more conservative with taking profits. I just came off a small loss this morning on the SXTP. We'll get to that in just a bit. But ARBB, this is kind of the same deal. Popped up before 7 o'clock, made a small little bounce going into 8, but then never ended up continuing to make that push higher, right? So you don't want to get stuck holding and hoping onto a trade like this if it's not going to pop. Hey, don't get me wrong. On the optimistic side of things, obviously, I don't want to sound too pessimistic as a trader. This past month, we've done so well on all these trades. C4, the POL trade from this past week. We had the NXTP just from this past Friday. That was up like 158% at one point or so. So a big push, actually up a hell of a lot more, actually. But hey, they could always come by. Just that's why you want to be in our room, at least so you have the chance to see the call out, watch myself, Rich, Fausto, when he's here. We're navigating the ship for you, and we're going to make call outs based off not just a stock popping, but if it has good volume, then we'll definitely be more keen to follow up on that call out. If it has a crazy spread, there was just one before the IINN, right? Hey, that was the first thing I said this morning on this trade. It popped up pretty strong to begin, but it had very thin volume out there and a much wider, more fluctuating spread than what you see here. It's actually filled in a little bit, but not too much so. Oh, nice little, I saw about 15K there. 15K on the bid right there, 244. All right, so that's at least a decent order out there on level 3 on the TradeStation Matrix. Let's actually see if you could have that pop up on NASDAQ Bookviewer. Whoa, take a look at this. So I filtered out my Bookviewer before this meeting started. We're looking to show and provide education on the NASDAQ Bookviewer a lot more going forward. Actually, stay tuned. Fausto is going to be doing a nice mini series on that throughout this week, I believe. So, hey, that iceberg order at 245, it's not through the NASDAQ because it would show right here. Maybe it's through the EDGX, ECN, the ARCA book, whatever it may be at the time. But where my eyes are right now, look at this. This is definitely popping up. We got at $2.70, 176,000 shares popping up right there at 270. And it's likely to be like one major order out there creating that. It's only 2 people actually in full. So, yeah, for right now, that's where you even more so have to be careful heading into the open for this one trade, the IINN. There is some news attached to this at least, so I'm going to just repost the news. Or, Rich, if you want to do me a favor and just blast that news again in the chat. I know that you did before, so I'll read it from above, though. He said that IINN moving higher after the company announced 95% accuracy results for their blood sensors. They're planning FDA submission for clearance in 2024. So obviously that's a nice fancy headline. And with that said, big pop. But with this iceberg order popping up here afterwards, definitely providing a new brick wall of like a steel wall of resistance right there. So yeah, I'll add this to our watch list. We'll see if that order gets pulled or maybe later on, if there's a chance it can get broken through. That'd be nice to see. Linda, nice catch on the IINN. She got in at 213, selling at $3. Beautiful off the initial pop there. One of our new students joining us. Excellent job from Linda there. Now let's go to the stock I took a small loss on to begin, because this was a good loss in the grand scheme of life. not just to say in hindsight, oh, it dropped, but it goes to what we always teach. We had a little resistance here from the chart, more or less a bit of a rounded top, had a false breakout here, and this technically is your pre-market high. So obviously in this trade I was looking for the pop higher. Well, it got up towards there. It broke over the VWAP. It started to move up nicely. I was looking maybe for an entry off the VWAP. I was a little late to the party, but I wasn't fully confident even of that move to start. I thought your better play was off like 157, 156 area right here. Made the call out in the chat. It actually moved right up towards there. And on the second pop here, I went to take the trade. It goes to what we always say, though. If it's not going to make that big move up, or in my case here, it pulled immediately back under the level, that's where I wrote to you. It's like, it's got to hold over 153. I can't have this really drop back down to 153. See that in the chat there. And as soon as it broke below that price, I got out. I took a 6-cent loss. It was on smaller size, obviously, given pre-market, but it was $30 in full. And with that big drop, and it was a better trade. And it was a good trade because the level was intact. It was just a matter of seeing the big move up. If you're not getting a big move up, you're going to get a big move down. So that's what you're trying to not hold on to, at least throughout the day, whether it's here in pre-market, where you can't set stops, right? You can't set stops in pre-market. That makes it even more risky to a degree. But otherwise, this had good volume on the book. It has a tight spread, good tier size for right now in pre-market at least. It hasn't truly broken lower like I thought it could do once I got out. I wrote in the chat to you like, now it definitely looks cooked. It looks like there's a case for this to be totally done for now. It technically hasn't broken lower yet. So, could we add this to our list? We can, but I'm going to add this to our side list to begin. I'll come back to this just in a moment. There we go. Linda giving a nice shout out to Rich, my colleague here in the chat, Rich Liza. As soon as she saw his post, she went in. Usually she's a day late and a dollar short. Learning every day with CTO. I love to hear the last part, Linda. We'll definitely look to help you on entries and exits and timing altogether. And with that said, in terms of timing, current time right now is about 9:09 Eastern. Let's just go right through our list right now. Let's go right from top to bottom here. See what else we could add. Perhaps the NXTP I'll talk about at the end again, the one from Friday. All right, so we got ARBB. Did we already, we spoke about that. We didn't really put that on the main list, at least. IINN, the next one we actually did. It doesn't hurt us to put this on our list. It's still up, God knows how much percent. And hopefully there's a case for this to make at least higher lows throughout the morning. It looks like it's making lower highs and soon to make a lower low. I would look to see, and actually, how about this? A little plug time right now. Obviously, all of our members and students inside our live trading room, we're certainly more privy to this, but stay tuned at 11 o'clock Eastern time, coming up for our weekly workshop this morning, folks. Today is not Monday, today being Tuesday. We got our Traders Talk workshop. So if there's any questions that you got for me here, please just shoot me a quick email, josh@ctutrading.com. I just type that in the chat board just for all of us inside Cyber Group, and then little flash there on YouTube right now. Same deal for you folks. If there's any questions for our workshop at 11 a.m. Eastern time, if you're inside our live trading room, just stay right there. You're good to go. If you're on YouTube and you're looking to join us right from there too, same to be said. But shoot me over a quick email, josh@ctutrading.com. That's my email. And first come, first serve in terms of getting your questions answered. ARBB, the one thing I will do before I move on, let's actually at least just jump back to Bookviewer. I'm not going to do this for every stock throughout this meeting here, but given what we saw on the IINN trade. So you have about 15,000 shares at 244. I mean, 250 you'd assume to be resistance anyway, and it was holding it pretty nicely earlier in pre-market. So 250. And then also you'd say 244. Bit of a smaller order out there. Otherwise, the combination of those prices together could act as a resistance there. I'll slip it on our list, the ARBB. All right, RYZB. It's a buyout. I just wanted to show this because, hey, this is what a typical buyout looks like. So you just move forward from it. You just move on from it. Same to be said, I think, also on this GRCL trade. This one ended up making a pretty strong pop early in pre-market, like at 4 a.m., but then flattened out. As soon as you see the drop off and the flatten out after, you at least speculate, and then definitely as soon as the news actually confirms it, then you move on. This I don't think is a buyout, Lee. So, one thing otherwise is with a lot of these Chinese companies, Chinese stocks trading overnight here for us in the US, that's where you're going to see a bit of a gap up overnight on a lot of these Chinese equities like Lee, You can even do like Baba, Neo, a lot of them at least. So any news on Lee, company-wise? I don't have any news really on Lee. It would show it right from Benzinga. Actually, let me just show you that here pretty quick. Here's our news feed on Lee. There's really not much specific to the stock. Back from December 20th, there was something about their options trends or trades there, but that's pretty much it. So, yeah, I'm not as keen to follow that Lee trade. We had Neo at least on our pre-market list. It's up nearly 5%. It's hanging in there. Does it hurt us to add a Neo back again on our watch list? It doesn't hurt, See if that can make a better trade over time, at least throughout the morning. ALT also up over 5%. This still trying to fill the gap, actually getting pretty damn close now at this point. So gap was pretty much around 10. It's around basically a little over 10, maybe $10.10. And then if it breaks that, then you could say 11 just from where it really closed the day before the gap happened. But I mean, hey, it's making a nice trend again this morning. Don't mind adding ALT. All right, what else we got here? I mean, nothing else really trading that much volume, up 5%. Really, we're trying to stay above. Yeah. All right. So let's hop over to the loser side here, seeing if there's anything looking good from there. We got a few more minutes until the open, folks. So I want to make sure that all of our students and myself have enough time to prep up, get ready to go before we start risking thousands and thousands of our hard-earned dollars. There's a reason why I phrase it that way. Boyle, not doing too much right there. Hey, there's not too much out there on the losers list this morning. NXTP, once again, Friday's runner, the before Christmas weekend kicked in, popped up pretty nicely in pre-market here, broke higher later on. Then eventually, same fate as all the others. Ended up making lower highs and then eventually broke down. And now look at it here. It's down 14, 15%. I guess it's trying to inch back up the last couple of bars, maybe trying to prove me wrong right now. I'm going to keep this on our side list here. Maybe traders are going to try and confuse SXTP with NXTP, and maybe the combination of them together run. A little trader's dyslexia tip there for all of us otherwise. But yeah, getting back to this one at least. This one's going nowhere so far. I don't really have much interest in this just yet, but it hasn't broken lower. I guess that's the last line in the sand there for that one. Your last selling point on making this a decent trade is the fact, hey, it hasn't technically broken lower, but, once it starts to rev up a little bit more, then I'll be more interested in it. All right, so for Linda, Michael, Grant, and all of us otherwise inside our live trading room, definitely now is the time. Let me know if there's anything else just left that you'd want me to look at here. Before we call it, I would have typed this earlier on YouTube, actually, but if you're not subscribed just yet, followed along on our social media streams and platforms, just hit the bell, click that subscribe button, be a friend, tell a friend, as I say, just at Cyber Trading User handle. But otherwise, though, we'll be back on later on this morning. Obviously, for those of us in our trading room, we got the full morning ahead, market opening up in about 15 minutes. And then I'll be on just universally, just for all of us simulcast at 11 o'clock for Traders Talk. So. All right, so I'm good to go here. I mean, hey, for a holiday week, like I said initially, I'm not really expecting too much out there. And if we get a lot more than we expect, then it's better to set the bar low, honestly. So right here on our scanners, ARBB. Oh, actually, let me actually lower this for a second. Okay. What's this? AIMD up 18% of late. Take a look there. Yeah, when you get in the order book to look this thin and blank, there is no big money trading the stock, at least yet. So I couldn't care any less about this trade right now. It's going to distract us from NEO or ALT or the ARBB or even that IINN trade for right now. So there's going to be a lot that looks like this that'll pop up like, oh, maybe it could pop, and then it dumps right back down, and then you're holding a big bag. Same could be said for our list, but at least those are a lot more liquid heading into the open. They have tighter spreads. They have better tier size altogether. So they're easier plays for the time being. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe one or two more for my side list, at least. Blink actually popped 5% in the after hours on Friday night. That could be a decent one. That's on my mental side list. I'm going to actually put it on paper there for the side list there. And you could say the same to be said for the crypto stocks, the miners out there. Bitcoin held a lower high on the daily chart, so maybe that's something to keep in mind to see a pullback here on these trades finally. But CLSK, Mara, Canon, all of those could be in play today, and those are at least very liquid. So if you do well on those, then you know who you are. But hey, again, there's a lot that looks like this as a sideless stock. TLRY is actually up a sneaky 3.5+%. It's possible this can make a pop too, but for right now, I'm just going to keep it on the B list, the side list otherwise. And then I think that'll just about do it for all of us here. So let me know, folks, if there's anything else, then just give me a quick shout on the chat board. But we'll be back on the mic just coming up at 9:30 for the opening bell inside Cyber Group. Now, again, if you're looking to join us from social media to our live trading room, you got a couple of options. You can scan that QR code on the top left of the stream. If you're fancy with your camera, fancy with your phone, just scan that QR code. It'll be good to go for all of us here at 9:30 even. Have the week-long trial, even with New Year's Day coming up this upcoming Monday. Just give a call to our office, speak to your education advisor. They'll be able to reset the trial, give you the full 5 days, obviously. We wouldn't rip you off in terms of the holiday week and whatnot. Hey, also, we got class coming up this week. We got the Phase 1 stock course lined up coming up for the month of December, so just stay tuned for that. Ooh, whoa. Can't show that just yet. Little sneak peek for 2024 there if you're a student. But got the Phase 1 stock course lined up this week, coming up tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday as well. So Wednesday, Thursday this week coming up. All right, folks.